What is going on, YouTube? I think this is part 6 of our 10K build in under 2 weeks. This means we are getting close to halfway over until the show. And guys, we've accomplished a good deal, but there's still so much work to do. So let's get into it and see what we can get done. Real quick, rocking the new shirt from Down for Sound that I got with the alternator when I got it. This shirt is super awesome, feels awesome. Huge shout out to Down for Sound for just always sending shirts when you buy cool stuff from their website. Previously in the series, we've got the alternator put in, we've got a big 10-inch head unit put in, we built a full wooden base that is bolted to the car to mount the batteries, amps, and of course the sub box. So we've really got the foundation pretty laid. In today's video, my goal is to run the power wires from the front up to the back and then do some planning along with that. Maybe run some other stuff while we're at it. Let's get into it. So we got 2 power wires ran from the alt. 2, we got my fuse block up here. This all runs underneath the car. It's all zip tied, all attached in places where nothing is moving. Comes up through these holes. And what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna put a bunch of silicone on each side of these so the wire doesn't move and it doesn't rub on that bare metal and eventually short. And we have a little fuse block right in here that both of these are going to. This way there's a fuse between this battery and the alternator up front, just in case something was to short somewhere in the middle at some point. The batteries you see in there are actually just empty cases. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull the batteries out of the Sequoia because those are going in here. I'm then building one new bank for the Sequoia. Here's the Sequoia setup. This is definitely looking worse for wear, guys. Has not been cleaned in a long time. This amp is actually blown. I do have another one, but we're not doing a big building here this year, so don't really need it anyway. But anyway, pulling these batteries out will give me a good chance to really kind of clean this up. I've had these cells for over 2 years now, and they have never, ever missed a beat. Take a look in here. Be a little dusty, but everything still looking pretty good. Now, what is interesting, so these are the new bus bars I got for the new bank I'm gonna build for the Sequoia. And you can see how much thicker these are. These are way, way thicker. Okay, last night my buddy Chris said he'd help me throw on the new tires on my 24s. These tires are absolutely massive. We also took out the spacers so we're not so crazy wide. Nice to get rid of those rubber bands we did have on this thing, but we ended up being up till 4 a.m. doing it. It was an absolute chore. Worth it though, definitely looks so much better. These tires are 38 by 13.5s. Of course, these wheels are 24 by 14s. They sit nice and flush. I didn't want a tire that was bulgy. I don't like the bulgy look. This looks so good, and we still have a really nice poke, but it's not quite so obnoxiously wide as it was before. Now that we have the batteries mounted, we got to ground them. The first ground I'm going to run, I'm going to run one ground from the alternator all the way under up to the batteries. We'll then also run additional grounds from the batteries to the frame of the car, but let's go ahead and get that alternator one ran. Well, we officially have these batteries grounded, and I went ahead and just ran these two cables I had to this amp just so we can test it, make sure it works. I know it's super messy, obviously. Not going to be using that for the final product. Also, the next thing I got to do is start replacing door speakers before I build the box, and I can't really mount the amp until I have the box done. So this way, it'll be hooked up. We can run some speaker wire, do some testing with that. So far, so good. This little JP amp is on. Next up, I want to pull up this door panel and throw a new speaker in there, mainly because I got to run wire all the way down through here. So since all this is up, might as well get that done with. They had these little old Rockville speakers in here. Honestly, they sounded terrible, and they just had wires ran everywhere. They had tweeters that were sitting in here or ran up and just stuck up here. Same with back here, the speaker wasn't there, and then they had a tweeter ran up here. It was literally taped to this hole. Glad to be getting these things out. Just like the radio, I just used some wire nuts on these things. Now I'm running sky high 14 gauge wire. Now this stuff is like super oversized and has a really thick shield on it, which is nice, but it does make it a pain getting through tight places. Normally you could get 14 gauge through some pretty small places pretty easily. This stuff, not quite so much, but that's okay. We've got this ran, this will run to my speaker. I was able to run it through there, back down through the factory loom, and we'll just run it up through there and be done. Now for this build, there were not a lot of good options for 6x8 speakers. Went ahead and picked these NVX speakers. These are the VSP series speakers. So one of the biggest ones I could find that would fit in the factory location. Eventually I may make some actual door panels for this, but just don't have time for this show. And I think this will at least do decent. It started raining last night, so barely was able to get this speaker in and back together. But let me tell you, it actually sounds really good. So far, very happy with this amp. Zero static noise or anything whatsoever. Anyway, so I'm gonna wrap up this video here, and then in this coming video, which I'm gonna start filming now, I'm gonna try to do the speakers over there. I'm gonna definitely at least get the other front speakers done, and those wires ran. Might get into the back speakers as well. And then from there, we need to run grounds and then build the box. So that's gonna do it. Thank you all so much. Remember, stay tuned for the giveaway. Cannot wait to see some of y'all at the Sundown Show here in just over a week. That's gonna do it for this video. Remember, as always, keep basing on.